Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Thursday, 27 November 2025. I'm Bernard Schelle, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Mtuli Ncube presents the 2026 national budget. I'm fired up, says Advocate Chamisa, as he hints on his new political direction. More needs to be done to support persons with disabilities, says Mdzingwa. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. Today, Finance Minister Ncube was in Parliament to present the 2026 national budget. Our reporter sent in this latest update.
This afternoon, the Finance Minister Mtuli Ncube presented the 2026 national budget that the opposition has called dull and not people-centered. Parts of the budget statements are that the diaspora remittances remain strong, with inflows projected to reach $2.7 billion this year and $2.8 billion in 2026. He reported that Zimbabwe's public and publicity guaranteed debt stands at $23.4 billion, representing 44% of GDP. In parts of the 2026 budget allocations, Mtuli Ncube said that Ministry of Youth will receive 1.7 billion ZiG for empowerment programs, while the Ministry of Health is allocated 30.4 billion ZiG, in line with the Abuja Declaration's 15% health funding benchmark. The Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education is set to get 10.3 billion ZiG. Ncube also proposed reviewing the 2% tax on ZiG-denominated transactions, reducing it to 1.5%, and increasing VAT to compensate for revenue losses. Reporting for Citizens Movement Radio, this is Loveness Gotora.
We spoke to Shadow Minister of Finance and MP for Mbizo, Honorable Madzivanyika, who shared his reflections about today's national budget presentation. Let's hear Honorable Madzivanyika speaking.
To start with, I wish to highlight that in terms of fiscal responsibility and in terms of fiscal sustainability, we did not see an improvement or confidence or a stimulus in that particular area. In what way? In the sense that since year 2017, we have been borrowing. We've been having fiscal deficits. We've been providing for fiscal deficits. What it means, therefore, is that we have been wanting to spend more than what we can, what we managed to collect. And in that regard, that created those fiscal deficits every year, actually added to the debt stock that we have as a country. So what it means that we are continuing again with that trajectory of having wishing or having that appetite to spend what we don't have. And what it means that is, as government, 2026, we are going to borrow again to support the fiscals. That is a dangerous situation, especially in light of the country's intention to re-engage and try to find lasting solutions to our debt crisis. The challenge with this debt is that it is going to affect our future generations. And it means, what it means that people will be born with huge debt on their shoulders, and that is not sustainable. Secondly, the macroeconomic framework that underpins the budget are not realistic. They are not conservative. They are not prudent in any way. There is no way we can expect growth to be underpinned by growth by an improvement in electricity generation. Yet the rest of 2024, we only added 80 megawatts to the national grid. And that cannot be a sustainable reason to say that the economy will grow. So there are various other assumptions that not speak to the macroeconomy, to the realistic nature of our macroeconomy and the growth in general. Thirdly, you will find that I expected the Honorable Minister to deal with, to bring a raft of measures to deal with the issue of corruption and to deal with a lot of governance challenges. You will also find that this country is losing a lot of revenue that is collectible to government via procurement. I thought the minister would bring a raft of measures to deal with the procurement leakages. I thought the honorable minister would come with a raft of measures to deal with the mineral leakages. We are not aware there is a lot of illegal mineral exports that are hampering the country's ability to generate revenue. Thirdly, you will find that I also thought that the minister will table treasury minutes. Treasury minutes are actually a representation, are actually a recommendation on how government is going to deal with issues raised by the Auditor General or issues raised by Parliament with regards to the manner in which fiscal resources are used in this country. There was no such a tabling of such a tabling of treasury minutes, and as such, we are just saying that there is opaqueness in the manner in which government is using its resources. Fourthly, the issue taxation. This is an elephant in the room. The Honorable Minister actually increased value-added tax from the current 15% to 15.5% effective January 2026. What does that mean? What it generally means that the poor person of the society is going to be at the instance of this taxation. You will find that companies don't pay VAT. Companies actually remit, they collect from taxpayers, from those consumers. When they collect, they then remit to government. So it's not the company itself that suffers the instance of VAT. It is the individual, the common man on the street, that suffers the instance of VAT. There are many other tax proposals that has been raised by the Honorable Minister, which actually affect the common man. You will also find that the issue of deductibility of IMTT. The minister reduced the IMTT for ZIG from the current 2% to 1.5%, which is a 0.5% reduction. But if you look at the US dollar component, the IMTT on US dollar was not reduced. But the US dollar commands about 80% of the volume of transaction in this economy. So literally, just as good as that, there was no reduction. There was no reduction in terms of IMTT, but otherwise it was more punishment in terms of VAT. So generally, by and large, the issue of budget making process in this country, it has become a matter of ticking boxes. It has become a matter of an academic exercise, because the actual spending or the actual disbursements from the fiscus does not reflect what Parliament would have budgeted, does not reflect what would have been budgeted for by the Honourable Minister. So the idea of having a budget in this country is just a matter of satisfying a constitutional provision, because you will find that the bulk of our national resources are now being taken and used for party business. Imagine how can the president make gifts to various people using his own personal money? We know how much the president gets per annum. Does he have the capacity under the normal circumstances to pay or to buy 40 cars to individuals? No. That's not possible. That money is actually coming from the fiscus. We have seen a lot of programs that have been designed by government, that have been designed by the party itself, by ZANU-PF as a party. Those funds are coming directly from the fiscus, under the guise that we are funding road maintenance, road construction, under the guise that we are funding housing, under the guise that we are funding this and that. There is a lot of a huge inflating of prices on contracts, and as such it appears on paper that everything is okay, but on the practically government or the people of Zimbabwe will be prejudiced, will be suffering a lot of prejudice in terms of the use of its national resources. I thank you.
Former Citizens Coalition for Change leader Advocate Nelson Chamisa has given the biggest hint yet that is now ready to launch a new political movement. Posting on his social media platforms yesterday, Advocate Chamisa said he's fired up and reassured the nation that the moment is coming. The popular leader of the alternative said the anticipation in the country is immense and massive. Meanwhile, in Mashonaland Central Province, citizens are already gearing up for change and to embrace Advocate Chamisa's new political vehicle. Let's hear one of citizens' leaders in the province, Sam Gondogwe, speaking.
The sound of the statement by President Advocate Nelson Chamisa bring ecstatic environment to the people that are yearning for the new. The statement brings joy, smiles, and a sure purpose to keep on believing and working for the new and for true independence in Zimbabwe. President Advocate Nelson Chamisa gave the most important and the biggest hint when he said he is fired up and is ready to launch a new political movement. It's like when a pilot, or when the pilot says, fasten your belts, we are about to take off. You are assured that you are going in the air. So the statement by the president makes us know that we are heading for the better, we are heading for the best, and we are heading into the future. The people's president reassured the nation that the moment is coming and is almost ready. The popular leader of the alternative said the anticipation in the country is immense and massive. So as in my central province, the citizens are already gearing up for the true change and to embrace the vision and the visionary. We are ready and we are.
ZANU-PF leader Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa handed over donation of Mahindra cars and wheelchairs yesterday to prominent individuals with disabilities, including musicians Greatman and Chipom Chengwa. One of the opposition officials living with disabilities, Honorable Denias Mdzingwa, said while he appreciated the Mnangagwa's gesture towards their community, more needs to be done to ensure that living standards of people with disabilities are uplifted. He said the government must resuscitate the social welfare department by injecting more funds and resources. Let's hear more from Honorable Mdzingwa.
This gesture, though positive, is just a drop in an ocean. It is important for those with physical disabilities to have wheelchairs for their mobility. But in this case, only about 50 members received wheelchairs. Zimbabwe has about 2 million people with disabilities. And that's why we are saying the gesture is just a drop in an ocean. What is important for Zimbabwe is to ensure that people with disabilities go to school. Currently, many persons with disabilities fail to complete their education because of funding. The social welfare does not have enough funding for those with disabilities. So it is important that the government redirect their energy towards the funding of education for those with disabilities, so that they learn within their local communities, so that teachers in colleges are trained on how to handle learners with disabilities, so that those who complete education will be able to live without seeking assistance from the government. So education is the first starting point for persons with disabilities to be liberated. The second important issue is that, persons with disabilities have chronic diseases. This is usually because of their nature of disabilities. And so they need medication. They need health care. And so the government must put more funding on the health of persons with disabilities. In addition, those who complete education must also be employed just like any other member of the society. Those who have already failed to go to school, the government must make sure that it avails a program that equips them with the skills so that they can live without depending on social welfare funding. So, in a nutshell, there must be a rigorous program to uplift the status of persons with disabilities in Zimbabwe, not just concentrating on a small number of people.
Today marks exactly a year since the release of ex-political prisoner and activist Langton Mwanaka from Harare remand prison. He was released together with one of the senior opposition leaders, Senator Jameson Rizai-Timba, and others from the group known as the Avondale 78. They spent nearly 6 months in custody after being arrested on the 16th of June 2024 while commemorating the International Day of the African Child. Citizens Movement Radio spoke to Mwanaka to hear how he is coping and what this day means to him.
Today, 27 November, is the day we were released from Harare Remand Prison last year, a moment aged into the memory of the Avondale 78 ex-political prisoners and a poignant reminder of the struggle for freedom and human rights. After being wrongly charged and imprisoned by the dictatorial regime of Mnangagwa, the day of release is a moment of unbridled joy marked by an overwhelming sense of relief and gratitude. The reunion with loved ones was a testament to the power of hope and reliance. Tears of joy, warm embraces, and the simple pleasure of freedom's taste are moments that stay with us forever. However, the transition back to normal life is not without its challenges. The trauma experienced during imprisonment can leave lasting scars, making it difficult for us ex-prisoners to adjust to our newfound freedom. The struggle to rebuild our lives, find employment, and reconnect with our communities can be daunting. A new purpose. Despite these challenges, we and many other ex-political prisoners find a new sense of purpose in our lives. We become advocates for human rights, using our experiences to raise awareness about the plight of others who have suffered similar injustice. Our stories serve as a power reminder of the importance of protecting democracy and human rights. Remembering the past, shaping the future. The memories of the day of release serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made and the struggles endured. As we look to the future, we do so with a renewed sense of determination and purpose, working towards a world where such injustices are never repeated. The reflections of ex-political prisoners offer a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity for reliance and hope. Our stories remind us of the importance of standing up for justice and human rights, even if in the face of adversity. We pray that the President's people, Reverend Nelson Chamisa, when he gets into power, will never forget the sacrifices made by brave sons, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, and sons to attain new great Zimbabwe. Lastly, I say, 2030 is a madness at its highest level. Zimbabwe is not for Mnangagwa. Zimbabwe is not for ZANU-PF, but for all citizens. So, the 2030 ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa agenda is a symptom of severe mental disorder.
On day 3 of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the citizens of a team led by Senator Amai Bongai Tome has launched a renewed campaign against gender-based violence, which is inspired by the leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa. The initiative calls for greater community involvement in supporting survivors, challenging harmful societal norms, and advocating for stronger protection for women. The team says its efforts will focus on education, awareness, and providing resources to those affected, while demanding accountability for all GBV cases. It urged the public to join the fight and help build a society where everyone can live free from fear and oppression. One of the youth leaders in Matabeleland South Province, Trimon Pofu, has said the level of poverty amongst villagers in the province is worsening by each passing day. Pofu said Emmerson Mnangagwa's government has failed to deliver on its 2018 and 2023 electoral promises to create jobs for youths. He said most young people in the province are flocking to South Africa and Botswana for jobs in order to fend for their families. Pofu said.
Umumo wokuphila uyala usiba mubi esigabeni semathebeleland kulandela ukwehluleka kukahulumende weZANU-PF ngaphansi kukamongameli walelo bandla u-Emmerson Mnangagwa emveni kokwehluleka kwakhe ukugcwalisisa izithembiso ayezenzile maqondana lokhetho luka 2018 kulanda kanye lokhetho luka 2023 okwenzakala ukuthi izivumelwano ayezithembisile ukuthi uza kuzenza mayelana lokutshintshwa kwempilo zabantu lokuthi abantu baza kuphila ngcono kakukho lokugodwa osokugcwalisekile. Okwenzakalayo ukuthi wayethembise ukuthi abatsha baza kutholiswa imisebenzi, kuza kufika isikhathi baqhatshwe laba abatsha bathole imisebenzi bakwanise ukuzisebenza baphilise lemuli zabo. Kodwa konke lokhu kuzofika namhlanje kukhanya kwehlula ukuthi kugcwalisiswe nguhulumende weZANU. So okwenzakalayo intsha yesindebeleni isizithola isesimene esiyingozi kakhulu osokubangela ukuthi baphume elizweni befohla elizwe besiya phandle kwamazwe angomakhelwana agoqela iSouth Africa leBotswana. Bekhona ngale abantwana bakithi kabakho safe, babhekana lezimo eziyingozi kakhulu. Siyakuzwa ngokusa kwamalanga endaweni ezifana labo South Africa kukhulunywa i-Operation Dudula. Abanye sibabona sibephethwe ngendlela ezibuhlungu kakhulu esimeni sezibhedlela, okubangela ukuthi kuzwise ubuhlungu kakhulu kubona abesimama esengumuntu otholakala efuna ezithola esebelethe ingane esemgwaqweni. So izinto ezibuhlungu kakhulu lezo esizibonayo kulandela ukwehluleka kokugcwalisisa izithembiso nguhulumende ka-Emmerson Mnangagwa leZANU-PF.
Youths have called for the scrapping of the 2% tax, saying it makes transactions of basic commodities expensive, especially for unemployed citizens who are the majority in the country. One of the youth leaders, Bulawayo Elvis Ndlovu, said it is logical for the government to continue taxing loafers while not providing them with basic services. Let's hear him speaking.
Ya mihla ngemihla ukuthenga kumbe ukubhadala indleko zomuzi lokugcinela nje imali usebenzisa umakhalekhukhwini izikhathi zonke kusuka kube buhlungu ngoba nje uhulumende yabethatha 2% lapho usenza konke kumbe ukuthenga kumbe ukubhadala kumbe ukugcinela nje imali lapho usithi uyalunga uzithule emalini 2% yabisihambile compound. Lokhu kwenzakala elizweni elingelamali yayo yazi ethengayo okwenza kube nzima kwabasebenzayo labo labangasebenziyo wese abehluleka lokuvula amabhuku ebhenki nje loba ukuboleka imali ngoba bebengela abangakubambisa then still charge ama 2% kanjalo. Hayi mbona ngani ubuya ngabuya phambili, izikhulu ziyanotha zisiya phambili, abatsha abaningi abalalwazi ngalokho okwenzakalayo nje, kodwa hayi I'm sure balolwazi ukuthi sisempini yomnotho wezwe njengezwe leZimbabwe, akulamali akulamsebenzi. Abatsha baphathe kanjani kwezomnotho kunye? iZimbabwe ingathi ihamba nyawo lunye lamanye amazwe abuswa okogodo anjengo-Uganda, lawo batheksa kakhulu, abo-Tanzania, abo-Cameroon, le-Kenya. Ubusele busegcekeni nje ukusivalela ngaphandle ekuphathekeni kwezomnotho, yazi ugcine kuzivuza ukuthi kanti vele sifelani.
The president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaro Sissoco Embalo, is under arrest following a coup yesterday. His detention came just hours before the presidential election results were due to be released. In a statement, the military said it had suspended the elections and closed all borders. The declaration follows a tense election in which the main opposition was banned and the remaining two candidates both claiming victory. Guinea-Bissau has experienced repeated military interventions since independence in 1974. Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema is facing serious protests from the Conference of Catholic Bishops over his plans to amend the constitution on term limits. Hichilema reportedly wants term limits for mayors and council chairpersons removed, but is said to be not intending on removing presidential term limits. Zambia is set to go to the polls next year, and Hichilema's popularity has waned as compared to 5 years ago. On Citizens Movement Radio, here's our sports news. The Zimbabwe women's netball team, the Gems, were off to a flying start in the Celtic Cup tournament currently underway in Scotland by beating Northern Ireland 57-40. Sharon Bwanali was named as the player of the match. Tonight, the Gems face Wales at 9 p.m. CAT. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe women's football team, the Mighty Warriors, have departed for Malawi ahead of the Three Nations Women's Tournament against Malawi and Zambia that's starting tomorrow, the 28th of November to the 2nd of December. Good luck to them. The Warriors coach Mario Marinica announced a 55-member provisional squad for AFCON tournament set for December in Morocco. The biggest news from the announcement was the omission of forward Kama Billiard. There were recalls for England-based pair Macaul Bone and Andrew Nomota. Other notable names who were retained include Jordan Zemura, Tawanda Chirewa, Tawanda Maswanise, Knowledge Msona, Marshall Munetsi, and Captain Marvelous Nakamba. Warriors fan Moses Mavaire gave us his reactions to the provisional squad. He said,
Yeah, I think the squad which has been announced by the new coach is quite a fair squad. And in my view, he has selected the best of what we have in the country currently. And I think the number 51 is such that he is able to assess every player and make sure that we have enough and enough assessment of each player for AFCON. And I believe we are going to have the best from those 50 selected in the provisional squad. And we are hopeful that we are going to have a good show come December 2022 when we start our first game against Egypt. So I think we are good to go, and all the best to the Warriors.
Veteran Warriors defender teenager Debe staged the storm after he donated the jersey he was given by Lionel Messi to Scotland FC owner Pedzai Scott Sakupanya. Some critics are of the view that Adebe should have kept the jersey of arguably the greatest football player of all time, as it would increase in value with time. Some question the logic of giving Lionel Messi's jersey to a man of tainted integrity like Sakupanya. Sakupanya was named in the Gold Mafia documentary as one of the individuals close to ZANU-PF dictator Emmerson Mnangagwa who are bleeding the country through money laundering and gold smuggling. In UEFA Champions League matches played last night, Arsenal dismissed Bayern Munich 3-1 at the Emirates Stadium, while Liverpool were humbled 4-1 at home by PSV. Here are the results of matches played last night. Pafos 2, Monaco 2, Copenhagen 3, Kairat 2, Olympiacos 3, Real Madrid 4, Sporting Lisbon 3, Club Brugge 0, Frankfurt 0, Atalanta 3, Atletico Madrid 2, Inter Milan 1, PSG 5, Tottenham 3. Zimbabwean cricketer Skandaraza has risen to number 1 on the ICC Men's T20I all-rounder rankings, overtaking Pakistan's Saim Ayub after a brilliant run of form in the ongoing tri-series against Pakistan and Sri Lanka. The achievement comes just months after he claimed the top spot in the ODI all-rounder rankings in September, reinforcing his exceptional consistency across white ball formats. Raza's latest milestone marks yet another proud moment for Zimbabwean cricket and highlights his growing stature on the international stage. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once more. Mtuli presents the 2026 national budget. I'm fired up, says Advocate Chamisa, as he hits on his new political direction. More needs to be done to support persons with disabilities, says Mudzingwa. The news on CMR English was brought to you by Bernard Stele. Me and the whole team wishes you all a wonderful evening. Meet us again in another news bulletin. Good night to you all.